everybody. So for today, we're going to conduct a little project called Racing Water Droplets. So the materials you're going to need are just a little bit of water. So I have a dish here with some water, a marker, an eyedropper, or a water dropper that we used in one of our other experiments when we did how many drops of water can different coins hold. And if you don't have that, or you lost it or misplaced it, a straw works just as well, and you're going to need a straw anyway, and some wax paper. If you don't have wax paper, but you should be getting some in your STEM bag, you can use parchment paper, regular notebook paper, a piece of cardboard, anything like that will work. Wax paper is going to give you the best results because it has a waxy film and the paper won't absorb the water, but regular paper will still work if you're in a pinch. So what we're gonna do, I'm gonna move my materials, and I did rip a piece of my wax paper off. So wax paper is exactly what it says it is. It has a waxy coating on it so that it's not dry, it's not gonna soak up any water. The water should stay right on here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to take my marker, and we're gonna make kind of like a racetrack. So I'm gonna make a very basic one. So I'm just gonna put a line from side to side, and I'm gonna label it finish. Okay, and then I'm gonna take a line from my finish line, and I'm going to just draw down to the end. So these are my two racetracks. So this is like, we could say lane 1, and this is lane 2. So you are going to be racing against someone, hopefully. If not, you can always try some different things with the water droplets we'll talk about shortly, and you can kind of have a race against yourself really here. So I made two kind of lanes here to the finish line, and then I'm going to use my eyedropper, okay, and I'm going to put the end in the water, squeeze a little bulb at the end, squeeze some air out, and let it go. Once I let the bulb go, the water then travels up the water drop. I'm going to move this up to make sure we can see this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to place one drop at the start of this line and one drop at the start of that line. Now, you can vary this activity as much as you want. You can use bigger drops of water, you can use smaller drops of water. You can actually put a couple drops of water and try and combine them to make one larger one and see who gets to the finish line. So the object of this activity is to use your straw to blow air through the straw. So you have air coming at the end, and you're going to see who can get their water droplet to the finish line before the other person that you're racing against. So when I blow through the straw onto the water droplet, I'm pushing it across the wax paper. And like I said, this wax paper has like a waxy coating, so it's not absorbing any of the water. And it doesn't take too much force from my breath through the straw to actually move this water droplet across the paper. But it's nice because with the straw, you can kind of direct where your air is going to go. And I'm making sure I'm directing it right at my water droplet. You could probably just use your breath without the straw, but the straw actually condenses that force and makes it a little more, trying to think of the right word here, where you can direct it more. You can aim where you want it instead of just the force kind of spreading out. We're really concentrating it into that the little area of the end of the straw. Okay, so we can try the other one. And so whoever would make it to the finish line first would win. Now you can change this up. You can have a really long piece of wax paper and make the racetrack much longer if you really wanted to. Get these little water droplets off here, and they slide right off. You can actually, put a couple pieces of paper together or pull out a really long piece, and you can actually make a curved track, and you can curve it like this, and you can put a line down the middle, so it really looks like a road or a racetrack. So that's going to add a little more difficulty because you're going to have to try and stay within your lane to get to the finish line. So it could be a little more challenging, but again, I think it would be pretty fun to do that as well. So some other things that you can try is, again, you can see if you can, start everybody off with, say, 3 water droplets or more. Okay, maybe we'll do 4. And then when you say go, you would have to push these together to make one large one and then race it to the finish line. So you could do that. You can start with a larger one. You can have like 2 or 3 and you have to get all 3 to the finish line. It's up to you. And again, you can use different materials. You could even use tin foil. The water won't get absorbed to that. If you use regular notebook paper or cardboard, it will soak up the water, but that could be part of the challenge. Who can get it, you know, to the finish line before it actually soaks into the paper or the cardboard? So that can add a little bit of fun or challenge to your activity as well. So why this works, so the force that I'm using to push this is not very great. I really don't have to blow too hard into my straw to get this to move, and it's a nice slick surface, so that helps as well, is because of something that is called cohesion. So that means water molecules are made of hydrogen and oxygen, and things that are alike, they like to stay together. So the hydrogen molecules, the oxygen molecules, they want to kind of stick together and stay together as a pack. So that's what allows this to stay together. Those bonds, okay, because they're similar, like to stay together. So with me just putting a little bit of pressure, I'm moving, because you can see it's making a dent. I'm changing the shape of the water droplet, but it's not strong enough to actually break apart those bonds. Now, I don't know if I can do this without making a mess, but if I really give a hard puff of air, that force will be too strong and I will break those bonds, and this water droplet will then break apart into smaller water droplets, which I will try. We'll see. There you go. So now I have broken some of those hydrogen and oxygen bonds, but even if I try to move these together, they will stick together kind of like glue, and you can kind of mop them all up, and I'm back to my original size here. So that cohesion, those forces, they like to stay together because they're alike. So like things, they like to stay together. So that the surface of it tends to hold together until that force from my breath of air through the straw is too strong where it breaks it apart. So there's lots of different ways to make this more challenging and fun. You can have someone time you if you'd like, you know, to see how long it takes to get to the finish line. Make your track longer. You can color it. You can add obstacles. You can really make this as interesting and fun as you would like. So I hope you enjoy this one. Try some different materials as your race tracks and see which one you like the best.